What's up, you guys? This is Fang Sasha VA here, coming at you with a new video. Yes, I am back. My break is officially done, luckily. And some of you might be wondering, where's that SARS channel? Well, long story short, it turns out that I was not mentally, what's the word here?
Prepared.
Yeah, I wasn't fully ready to make that SARS channel yet because of how bad my mental health was. However, I am back. I have zero plans on going anywhere, and because of that, that's why I didn't do a update video being like, "Hey, I'm back. Here's what happened," like, the stereotypical YouTuber thing. Um, so, however, I did do some brainstorming while on my break, and my thought process is this: I'm going to record videos that I want to record. Yes, Sonic and Shadow content will be still on the channel. My logic is this: my videos don't get a lot of views, and they don't get, I don't always get a lot of subs. However, the caveat of this is that I have nothing to lose, and I have more to gain with me doing this. And also, here with me today is everyone's favorite Foxy Floof.
Whoa.
So I figured, I would have her be part of this, because I'm sure that she would want to be a part of this conversation.
Considering we both watched it together.
Now, the video we're doing today is our thoughts on Dragon Ball Daima. I'm actually gonna try and criticize things that I, thought that they could do better. It's gonna be very hard because I thoroughly enjoyed it all.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to criticize it.
So there will be, if none of you have watched the series and is holding out for the dub to be fully done or to be
I
uploaded
will
on
edit a spoiler.
anywhere that's not Crunchyroll, then, as what Mizu just said, she'll put something on the screen
I'll put a
when we begin to
spoiler
talk
thing
about
on the
it.
screen.
Yeah. So before we get into the full-on discussion about our thoughts on Dragon Ball Daima, I want to get into the ridiculousness that is the Dragon Ball fandom on Twitter regarding the show. Ever since the show was announced, and even when it was airing, it had this weird stigma about it. That for some reason, because of the fact that it wasn't Dragon Ball Super Part 2, a lot of people did not want to support it. A lot of people did not want to watch it. People did not want to give it a chance because it's not their beloved moral arc. And I get it. I want Alter Ego to be animated so bad so that we can have that form in all the various video games. And even though I understand that, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, in my opinion, and of course, right, I can already hear people in the comments now, however, this is my opinion. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball, you should at least give the show a chance.
Yes.
And on top of it all off is that even when the show was announced, there was people worried about it because of the fact that if you just, the adults was turning into kids, and there's this stigma about GT, Dragon Ball GT in the fandom as well, and there's also stigma around OG Dragon Ball, which I don't fully get. When it comes to anything remotely Kid Goku, there's a portion of the fan base that wants nothing to do with it.
Which is so weird.
All because they started out with Dragon Ball Z. And in my opinion, that's no excuse. Like with Star Wars, I grew up with the prequels. The Star Wars prequels is my Star Wars. But I still went back and I still checked out 4, 5, and 6 so I could understand what happened, you know, what happened, after.
Yeah.
Well, technically, when it comes to real world stuff, I went back to look at what came before, but technically it's after. Star Wars is weird like that.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like that.
Um, even though that I understand this people's opinion, I don't agree with people's logic with that. Another thing that was also driving me nuts is people calling this non-canon. Now, if I find out any of you are the people that say that GT isn't non-canon because it doesn't feature Toriyama working on it,
Oh
and
boy.
if you all are saying Daima isn't canon, you guys have no right to use that reasoning with GT. That is called calling the what do you count as calling the kettle black?
It kind of would. It kind of would.
Now, despite that, I still welcome opinions. So I want everyone to remain cordial in the comments, even though that kind of came, left field, and I threw basically the equivalent of a how to word this without YouTube flagging my video.
Um.
Summoning Godzilla
Yes.
to wreak havoc.
Yes.
So anyways, with that said, as a fun fact, I was actually gonna make that another video. I was gonna put the whole Dragon Ball fan base on blast, but I'm like, yeah, I don't need to make a whole
You
video.
don't need a whole video on that.
Despite those fans, I actually like this fan base. Especially the artists.
Oh god, the artists are amazing.
So shout out to all you actual artists out there, and not you AI artists.
Yes.
So this show definitely gives me strong Dragon Ball GT vibes, and that was the whole point of the show, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much similarities. The fact that you're going on this adventure to find Dragon Balls, to this way, Goku can be turned back into normal and all that, and well, in this case, it's everyone. Um, Even though in GT they did it because they had to make sure that the planet doesn't explode, I
Quote,
believe.
yeah.
But I believe they said along with that they were going to wish Goku back to his adult form as well.
I
If I
believe
remember,
so as well. It's been a while since I've watched
yeah.
GT.
But even the main characters. I mean, there's four. Like GT started out with three, and then we got a fourth one. So for GT, we had Goku, Trunks, Pan,
Yep.
and then Giru.
Yep.
And then for Daima, we have Goku, Glorio, Hanzi, and Shin. Which we find out more about his race's lore.
I know, which is so cool.
Now I've always been a big GT defender because I thought that the hate of GT is so over exaggerated.
Yeah.
I think people using Toriyama as the reason why they don't like it. I think that is such a cop out because Dragon Ball has made things before that people enjoy that didn't have Toriyama really working on it other than character design, and those are a lot. And those are a lot of the movies.
Yep.
But so I'm gonna list off the things I didn't like about Daima, then we'll get into the stuff we did like.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things I didn't like about Daima was the pacing was a little too rushed at times.
Oh yeah, with certain things, yeah, it was.
I feel like having it be 20 episodes was a bit of a detriment. I mean, a short anime can work. I mean, there's plenty of examples of short anime working. I mean, Gurren Lagann, one of my all-time favorites, is like that.
Isn't it like?
The think it's like 25, 26, 27 episodes, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere through there.
And another thing I don't like is definitely the ending. Even though that the ending, I don't think it was all that bad. For it being like the finale of a series, they should have done more.
Yeah.
They should have had this big gravitas. But like what people pointed out, it definitely felt more like a season finale than a series finale. So I don't know, like, if they were going to make a season 2, although, like, what more could they do with it? Who knows?
This is true.
One other thing I don't like about it is that there's a certain episode that I think, while I do understand that, you know, it exists for a reason, episode 13 is definitely a very weak episode in my opinion.
I was about to ask if it was episode 13.
It was episode 13 because even though that we did learn some things from this episode, I think it was one of those episodes that, in all honesty, they could have included it in a short part of another episode or something. They didn't have to, you know, they didn't have to have a standalone episode for episode 13, although the character interactions, like especially between Pansy and Bulma, was very nice.
It was cute.
And so, yeah, that's pretty much it of things I didn't like. Now, for the things I do like, and this is where the large part of the discussion is going to be, is so one of the things in the fandom. Well, you know what? We're not going to talk about the hype moments yet. One of the things I really liked about it was seeing more lore behind the Namekians and the the
Kais.
Yeah. Shin's race and all that, and learning how, like, you know, Shin race was pretty much born from trees, and that they're actually they start out being genderless, but they didn't fully go into this, but I'm gonna assume that they are, like, I guess maybe they choose what gender they want to be.
That is possible. Oh, I just remembered the name of the race. The name of the race is like Glens or something like that.
Yeah. So that was super interesting, and we actually see the guys from Dragon Ball Super. However, the things that I guess I can add this to the things I didn't like is that I do have to agree that there were certain things in this episode that contradict Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
One of the things is Shin being the one to tell them about the multiple universes, which is why it made people wonder if does Daima take place in an alternate continuity. I think it does.
I mean, it is very possible. I mean, that's what people went with GT.
Not only that, something that happens later on kind of makes me feel like there's no point of this Goku having Super Saiyan God.
But we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. So, and even the Namekians, is that turns out Demon King Piccolo wasn't talking out of his butt. He was truly a demon. His group of Namekians could have been the Demon Clan.
Which is really interesting to learn, especially since we both have been watching OG Dragon Ball.
Wait, no. I messed up. We're going to cut that part of the video out because I remembered. King Piccolo came from Namek to Earth.
Yep.
But, anyways, King Piccolo wasn't lying about the demon part of his name, although he wasn't no king. Because probably during the OG Dragon Ball's days, it was probably Abra or Gabura that was king.
Yeah, there's one of those two definitely that was king during that time.
So we're getting a lot of different, lore that ties back into OG Dragon Ball and Z, and that's another thing I really like because those two series is, OG Dragon Ball and Z are the most important series when it comes to Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, if you want to talk about canon, the manga is the true definitive canon. Everything after it is basically just a cherry on top of a already amazing cake.
Or sundae.
Some of the things I like is Majin Buu and Majin Buu.
They are such goobers. I love the both of them so much.
I love their dynamic. I love how Majin Buu is the brawn while Majin Buu is the brains. The moment that really stands out to me is when it's after Majin Buu defeats the third Tamagami.
No, the first one, hon.
The first one. Oh, Lord.
Goku beat the third one.
Yeah, you're right.
It's okay, I'm helping you. We're good. Keep going.
See, this is why I need to start writing down notes.
Well, hey, every little fumble happens when recording videos. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give myself grace. This is my first time back, so...
Yeah, exactly. That and the audience gets a little bit of hee-hee-ha-ha's.
Yeah, but... So, we see a moment where Majin Buu needs to count up these numbers, and it was Majin Buu that figured it out.
Yep.
And not only that, probably the part that made me freaking lulled was when Majin Buu would Super Saiyan 3.
That part... Okay, I will admit when that part happened, and we'll explain why this happened later on, but when that part happened, I was not expecting that to freaking happen, because I'm just sitting here going, okay, what's Majin Buu gonna do? All of a sudden, Super Saiyan 3, it's like, what the heck?
That broke my mind a little bit.
It did mine too, because I was sitting here going, wait, can the Majins actually do that? Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, it wasn't full on Super Saiyan 3, he was imitating.
I know that, but still, it makes you think.
So it makes me wonder if it's possible for Majin to, imitate Super Saiyan 4.
Oh my good lord.
And somehow have, fur. Have, imitation fur.
Imitation fur? Fake Super Saiyan 4.
Which is just these little spikes of, their body.
Anyways, we should
shooting out of their skin.
We should move on to the next day before we go derailing.
I definitely like Florio.
Yeah.
He was a very complex character.
That, and you could always tell he was up to something.
Yeah, he was definitely a double agent. And turns out all those times that the ship broke down, that was him doing it. He was purposely bringing those ships down.
Yep.
And he would also purposely get them into danger too.
Yeah. And then there's just me in the
example,
background wanting to hit him.
For example, flying too low to the water. When he could have just flown up high. Pansy was a riot. She definitely reminded me a lot of like early Dragon Ball Bulma, but also some Pan as well.
Yeah, Pansy's a hoot.
Shin, of course, is Shin, and honestly, something he said really freaking triggered me.
I forgot what was it. What was it that he said that triggered you so badly?
His main job is to protect the universe.
Oh, never mind. I remembered. Yeah, that triggered me pretty hard. You guys should have heard him. He went on a spree. It was funny though.
There's a reason why the Dragon Ball fan base calls Shin useless.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just saying, it was funny how you went on a spree. It was funny.
Freaking King Kai is more useful than Shin. Because King Kai has actually helped.
That is true. King Kai actually has helped. Let's see.
But, Dr. Rensu, I really enjoyed as well. Because she definitely gives off single mother vibes.
She does. Plus, Arensu is Shin's older sister.
Yeah, and he also has an older brother as well.
Yeah, I actually forgot his older brother's name. Fuck. Dagetsu or something like that. Dagetsu.
Yeah, something like that.
I forgot his name.
Let's see.
There's
I enjoyed all three Takagamis.
Yeah.
Especially the first one.
Yeah, he's really cool.
You know, it's controversial. I actually didn't mind the big final villain of the series. I mean, yeah, he could have been more, but it's like his whole point was to get that eye. And the thing is too, we don't know how powerful he is without the eye, because he could be extremely powerful. Because
That is true.
And to quote Yoda himself, size matters not.
This is true. And also, he was the tutelage under the Bora, so...
Yeah, so there's a reason.
It's just, Daima was... Oh.
Although I find it interesting now, once he turns big, his outfit looks similar to
the Pride Trooper.
Yeah, which there's a theory going around. Did he have something to do with what happened to Jiren's parents?
You know, that's a very interesting theory. I am interested in that theory.
You know, it's just a theory, but I do find it interesting how it's a homage to. And not only that, but even the arena was like reminded me of the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
Especially the final battle we have all of them teaming up against.
God, yeah.
Well,
shall I bring up when Vegeta gets a certain form before we bring up the hype one?
Yeah.
So, they're in episodes 11 and 12. Vegeta has called dibs on fighting the second Tamagami. Since, you know, Goku, aka Kakarot, got to fight the third one.
Kakaroto.
Vegeta was like, well, you know, it's my turn to fight. You got to fight the last one, my turn now. Well, during that fight, specifically in episode 12, the Namekian that's with them, I forgot his name.
Neva
does this thing that activates, I guess, hidden power inside the Tamagamis that he has with his magic.
Yep. For all of you RPG fans, he basically buffed him.
Yeah, he gave him a buff. He made him stronger. So, looks like Vegeta's getting his butt kicked and stuff and all this. Not only that, he almost gets eaten by the Kraken twice. You guys will understand when I say Kraken. But it looks like Vegeta's gonna lose, and then all of a sudden he starts powering up, and all out of nowhere he's Super Saiyan 3, and it's just like, he finally achieved it!
Now, here's the thing, right? Vegeta achieving Super Saiyan 3 is not a new concept. He achieved it in the Rage and Blast games.
That is true.
Zeno, Vegeta has access to
Yeah,
Super Saiyan 3.
in
The difference
Heroes.
is that before Daima, Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 was basically Goku's hair, Super Saiyan 3 hair without the Bane.
Yep.
And however, in Daima, he gets this unique Super Saiyan form that actually goes along with his hairstyle.
Yep.
And ironically enough, and you know, if and you know, of course, you know, you're probably going to edit this in because I'll probably send you the picture. There's a concept art of when Toriyama was working on Super Saiyan 3, and there's one concept art where Goku has a similar hair to how Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 is.
I did not know that. Yeah, you're gonna have to send that to me so that way I can put that in.
When I saw that, I instantly knew, like, okay, so they reused an old concept, which is cool.
That's amazing.
We also learned that the reason why Vegeta fights with his legs and has his arms crossed is because of Vegeta.
Yeah, but yeah, we get to learn about a certain which in all honesty I find kind of funny that it's from Vegeta that Vegeta learns that from.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so that's where Vegeta learned leg day.
So, during the final battle, we do see that form again after they get turned into adults. But before we start discussing that, during the actual early stages of the battle in the third Demon World, not a lot happens. They do save Dende. Of course, they don't last very long. Forgot to mention this. One of the things I liked about Daima was that they had their own version of the Ginyu Force, a Sentai.
Oh parody. Yeah, those five.
A Toku Sentai parody. And Vegeta makes short work of them. And another one of my favorite Dooku moments is when they decide to help them out with buying snacks. And turns out they couldn't afford all the ones that they want, so they just bought the chocolate bar.
Yeah.
For them.
They were nice, but it was kind of funny how Vegeta just mixed them.
Yeah, I bet you Vegeta was like, yeah, I've dealt with this once before. I'm not dealing with this
again.
So, during the initial battle, pretty much Goku fights Majin Buu, and then what happens is that
in the middle of said fight,
yeah, the main boss, I forgot his name.
Did you? Is it like Goma or something like that?
Yeah, Goma. Goma intervenes and disrupts the fight, and he creates a arena for them to fight on.
At this point, Goma has gotten the third eye.
Yeah. And what this form does is, the more weakened you cannot beat anyone if they have the eye. There's a certain way you have to do it, and basically, they keep getting more power.
Yep. And no matter how battle damage they get, it gets repaired.
And so, because of that, it makes Goma look like weak, but it's like, well, that's why people want the eye. That's why. Any demon, any person with that eye is an issue.
Yep.
So, everyone's teaming up against Goma, and we see some cool fights with Goku and Tanigami,
Tanagami 1 and
fighting
Do.
Do, all three of them going in. You have Vegeta and Piccolo and Gorio also fighting them, and then finally it gets to a point where Goku turns Super Saiyan 3, which is why Dude doesn't. But then what happens is Goku gets his butt kicked, and he's lying there.
And
David
then
comes, pretty much does something to Goku's DNA by helping him finally push through that ceiling, and we see for the very first time Toriyama's version of Super Saiyan 4.
and it looks amazing. I like it.
And this isn't the first time Toriyama drew Super Saiyan 4. If you were to get the GT Dragon Box that only came out in Japan, in there in a booklet, I believe, if you flip through it, there's a
I
drawing.
believe it's on the last page of the booklet where he drew it.
Yeah, Super Saiyan 4. And he did the same thing for the movies, but with Super Gogeta.
Yep.
And Toriyama always liked this form because Nakasuru really knew Toriyama's drawing style so much that there were times that he thought that he created Super Saiyan 4, even though he didn't. Like, he would actually forget that he did not create it because it's so much what Toriyama would do. Which is why it kind of rubbed me the wrong way on Twitter, where you have all these people coming out of the woodwork being like, Super Saiyan God is the true Super Saiyan 4. It's like, dude, even the freaking creator of Dragon Ball loved Super Saiyan 4.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that people can't have I'm not saying people can't have Super Saiyan God as their favorite form. I'm saying that at least Super Saiyan 4 isn't a freaking borderline recolor.
Yeah, I am. And no, you're not.
And did you hear a part about the Super Saiyan God where I said it's a recolor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can just edit that part out. Otherwise, just said, God, I'm sucking at this.
No, hon, you're fine. You're fine.
Now, what's interesting about the Super Saiyan 4 is that everything about it looks identical to the original. Difference is that he has extra parts in his hair. He has bigger hands. The fur doesn't go all right down to his wrist, and he has these red stripes going across his chest.
Yep.
And when he's mini, he's actually acting more monkey-like.
It's kind of funny. Like, there's a funny part when he's fighting Goma, where he's running down a rock pillar that Goma threw at him like a monkey, but when he jumps off of it, he hooks on Goma's leg with his tail. It's funny.
And he swings around, and then he punches.
Yeah, Goma. It's hilarious.
And what's cool is that there's a little homage to the red in the Ten Nights Kamehameha, where what happens is Goku starts preparing the Kamehameha, Goma punches him, but Goku was able to get the punch. Was able to do the Kamehameha anyways.
Yep.
The unfortunate thing is that Goma was able to put him in this spear that literally made him de-transform.
Oh yeah, which kind of sucked.
Which is what led to what happens next, to where Aritsu has Gorio summon the Demon World version of Purunga, which is where the Namekians got the idea for the Namek Purunga.
Yep.
And ironically enough, this is another GT reference. That Demon Purunga is red.
He's a red Durgan.
I've always been a big fan of the red Shenron from GT. And the fact that we see a homage of it with Purunga is amazing.
Yes.
And then he makes a wish. Now, at this point, everyone's wondering is he actually going to let Aritsu become immortal. However, in the next episode, in episode 20...
The final episode.
No. In episode 19, actually.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, it's episode 19. Never mind. The episode before the final episode.
Turns out Glorio got double-crossed Aritsu because he has grown to really enjoy being friends with Goku and the others. They get their bodies back. And there's this wholesome moment to where, like, he apologizes, and Aritsu pretty much says, "It's fine, but you're fired." And she's not mad. She's not upset. She's not...
If anything, she's probably disappointed.
Yeah. Like any mother.
It's like, I'm not mad, I'm not upset, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. Because as it turns out that Glorio was founded by Aritsu, so in a sense, Aritsu kind of basically adopted him.
Yeah.
But there's one problem. Goma is still around. So, Vegeta decides it's his turn to fight. Both him and Goku argue. And then Vegeta says, "It's my turn." And then we see Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta again.
As an adult.
And the fight between them was so freaking cool. Like, they do these point of view shots that's so much like the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie.
So good.
And then we see Final Flash.
A huge ass Final Flash.
And then what happens is he has no choice but to be transformed, but we all know Vegeta, he's stubborn. So he ends up trying to fight again, and people are noticing the fact that, well, it's Goku's turn, Goku should fight. And, because at this point they have...
That, and Goku was also pointed out, Vegeta couldn't last much longer in Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah. And this was when the plan was conducted of Goku would distract Piccolo so that Piccolo can hit him in the back of the head 3 times. And, of course, Vegeta won't listen until Bulma decides to do the most mean thing from the series.
The funniest line, one of the funniest lines in the series.
And I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna try to.
We're gonna try to reenact it.
Yes. Vegeta's fighting. Bulma walks up.
Vegeta, if you don't get down here right now, we are never taking a bath again. Together.
Well, that's what happened after.
Yeah.
The first time she tries to get him to...
Yeah, she's just like trying to tell Vegeta, come on, it's Goku's turn.
But then once she said that, Vegeta literally turned with the most, like his heart has been broken. And does the biggest, fastest haul ass I've ever seen that he's ever done.
He hauled ass so fast. And D-transformed immediately landed beside Piccolo with his arms crossed. It was hilarious.
And Piccolo's face was funny.
Piccolo's like, you gotta be kidding me. And then there's just Goku rubbing the back of his head, like, why is that so important?
Well, here's the thing. People think of that as a slight towards, the fact that Goku doesn't love Chi-Chi. No. What it is that Goku experienced, in a sense, doing that with Bulma during OG Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's why he was so confused. I'm like, why is that? Huh?
Why is that such a big deal?
Yeah, that's why he was so confused. There was even a post somebody put on Twitter. It wasn't a bad post about it. It's where they screenshotted Goku's face and said, "This is a man that remembers his bath with Bulma."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I was literally referencing.
Yeah, I know, but I was just saying to help with your point there, hun.
So then, of course, for all of us Z fans, and Budokai 3 fans, and I will say why I say Budokai 3. We see Goku do a 1-for-1 reshot of his transformations, going from 1 to 2 to 3, and it's animated beautifully.
Oh, it's
and
so
Glorio,
good.
And Glorio does his own version of when Babidi goes, "What a punish transformation! You change your hair, so what?" But instead of Goku saying, "Just wait," and now this is to go further beyond, Goku smirks. One more bonus, and Vegeta knew immediately what Goku was about ready to do.
Yeah.
Goku screams. He starts powering up. His eyes go red. He rips off the top part of his gi. And let me say this: Sean Shammo, Scream. He has a lot of shoes. I mean, he has some big shoes to fill. When we see that episode in dub, Masuko Nozawa is a 90-something-year-old woman, and she pulled off a Scream like that.
She pulled off a. It was an amazing scream she pulled off in sub.
Sean, and this is where I'm going to coin the phrase. And if people want to make me out to be some sort of sub-elitist, then that's on them. Sean Shammo voices Goku. Masako Nozawa is Goku.
Yeah. I can agree to this. Oh boy.
And then we see one hand come on the rock. And we see him stand up for the very first time since GT. Technically Heroes, but in terms of a full-on anime production, not something short, not for a game.
GT.
For the very first GT, we see Adult Super Saiyan 4.
And that's where they ended episode 19, was on that screen cap.
Now, the next episode, Goku goes bam on Goma.
Oh.
He is kicking his ass, and he does his massive Kamehameha that rips through all three of the demon worlds.
Yeah,
now,
those.
Now, of course, some people might think, well, I'm sure that there are people that wish that was, a certain red Kamehameha, but people I forgot to remember is that the Tenten's Kamehameha started out as originally blue.
Yep.
I believe it became red once he became full power Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah, I think it did so as well. But they kind of added a little bit of a homage to that because there was little hints of red in it when he.
Yeah. So if he keeps using that form, if he keeps using that Kamehameha, there's a chance it could turn red, or B, he might achieve his own version of full power Super Saiyan 4.
Oh god.
Because the look of Daima Super Saiyan 4 gives me Limit Breaker vibes.
Yeah.
From Heroes, and also gives me Gogeta vibes as well. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And the fight ends with a victory because Ku helps them out because Uritsu basically was the reason why they knew about they got hit him in the head 3 times, and that's another wholesome moment that Uritsu has with her children that I'm calling them. Is that Ku helps her find the page by flipping it super fast.
Yeah.
Basically, at the end, Masaku becomes the new Supreme Demon King. Aritsu basically becomes,
His tutelage.
yeah.
And
Well, I'm not
then,
sure tutelage.
well, not
No,
tutelage. She works under him, like to be the next one in line.
I believe so. I don't remember. I don't remember.
No. It was that because she was shocked that he asked her that.
Okay, yeah. Um, Everyone leaves, and basically, we get to see, you know, Goku and Vegeta talk about their forms and how, Vegeta, complains like, okay, well, how did you get that form? And then Goku explains how he's been training ever since Boo was defeated, and he could feel his power inside of him. He just couldn't pull it out, and that's what Neva did. My theory is this: I think Daima Goku still needed to go Golden Great Ape in order to achieve Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah.
The fact that there was a requirement that Goku could not, there was that little piece of that puzzle that Goku could not figure out to achieve it, tells me that this is my headcanon because I love the idea of, and this is a bit of a tease for Friday's video. But I've always loved the idea of Super Saiyan 4 being gotten because of the Great Ape.
Yeah.
So, Super Saiyan 4 is not a form gotten because of Neva's magic. It was Neva basically unlocked Goku's potential, more or less, and helped him be able to bring that form out. And now
kind of
he
like
can pretty much
how
use
Guru did with Krillin and Gohan. That's kind of cool when you think about it.
Now, as a big GT Goku fan, this is angering me a little bit that even the average Goku easy with getting Super Saiyan 4. Yes and no. Goku's trained. He knew that there was something there.
He just couldn't figure out the requirement to go get closer to it.
Yeah, he couldn't get that extra one final push. And ironically enough, that's kind of like for Beast Gohan too, when like Piccolo was having him, reach for deeper power, and Gohan could feel something, but he just couldn't get it, and that's when Piccolo literally put his life on the line to prove his freaking point.
Yeah.
And then of course too, Goku, talked about how Vegeta achieved Super Saiyan 3, but because Vegeta wants nothing to do with, doesn't want anything in common with Goku, he calls it Ultra Vegeta 1, which is what annoys me because there are people calling that form that name, and I'm like, well...
It's not that, it's Super Saiyan 3.
The unofficial name of that form for Vegeta is Ultra Vegeta 1. Officially, it's Super Saiyan 3. It's the same form as Goku's.
Yep.
And then we find out that you could literally buy the eye from that store, and that there was only one person that bought it, and the look of horror on their face.
Yeah. It was a look of, oh, we need to get rid of these before something bad happens again.
Pretty much.
But Daima was really good.
It was really good. It's the end of an era. It's the last project that Toriyama ever worked on. And fun fact is that this project wasn't even started by Toriyama. Ioku brought the project to Toriyama because the whole plan was Toriyama was going to work on it a bit, but Toriyama loved the idea so much, and he just latched onto it and just started working his ass off.
Oh, that's cool.
And Nakatsuru, that's where we learned that Toriyama was the one that designed Super Saiyan 4 for Daima. So my My theory is this. I think Toriyama wanted to keep Super Saiyan 4 99% to how it originally looks, because again, he loved that form. He
Oh
was a fan
yeah.
of that form. Because it was literally like something that he would make. And he just wanted to, create his own version of it. It's not like Broly to where, yes, Super Broly has the same name, has the same abilities, has the same transformations as Z Broly, but Super Broly can be considered as a different character altogether.
This is true.
Um, but no, I thoroughly enjoy Daima. I hope that we get to see more of these characters. I hope, me personally, I'm perfectly okay with Daima being non-canon, the Super, because Goku doesn't need God after going Super Saiyan 4.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
true. He don't.
I'm sorry. Um, but even though Goku, so I'm gonna reference to something here, like I said in my whole, you know, basically in my one video I did where I discussed how both Broly's and both Bardock's is actually going to help merchandise merchandisers make even more money, is because when you have a when you have a popular transformation or a popular character, they are literally called evergreen because they will always turn out money.
Yep.
People love Super Saiyan 4, even if they don't like GT. There's a lot of people that like Super Saiyan 4 because of how unique it looks. Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, while I do like them, they are borderline recolors, as is Ultra Instinct.
Sad but true on that one.
Is that a bad thing? No, because there are certain things about Ultra Instinct that I do like Omen. I love how you have Goku's black eyes and you see that little bit of silver in his hair, and you have his silver eyes and you have that aura. You know, I like Super Saiyan God and I like Super Saiyan Blue, but my favorite all time, transformation of Dragon Ball is Super Saiyan 4, which there's another video we're gonna be doing. It's gonna be interesting because it's gonna be literally a tier list with 5 people doing it, doing their own.
That's. I already know that's gonna be a very interesting video.
I can see some borderline debates happening, especially if like someone puts Rose up in like S tier.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, that's it for this video. Definitely let us know your thoughts on Dragon Ball Daima down below. I'm sorry for any of the blunders that was been made in this video. This is my first time back. I will make sure to have notes written down for
Yeah.
videos like this in the future. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell button. And definitely go sub to Mizu's channel.
And sub to this channel as well.
And yeah, we'll see you all in the next video. Later, guys.
Bye, guys.